Once, in a small village, nestled amongst rolling hills, lived a young boy named Jordan. Jordan was a curious and kind-hearted child who loved exploring the wonders of nature. He had a smile that would brighten even the cloudiest of days and a heart full of compassion for everyone he met. One sunny morning, Jordan woke up early and decided to take a walk through the fields and meadows that surrounded his village. As he strolled along, he noticed some of his friends gathered under a large tree, whispering and giggling. Curiosity sparked within Jordan, and he couldn't resist joining them to find out what was going on. To his surprise, Jordan found his friends talking about something strange. They were mimicking one another and complaining about everything they did together. "We played joyful music and they didn't dance," one of his friends grumbled. "We sang happy songs, but they didn't sing along," another added, sounding disappointed. Jordan listened intently, trying to understand the situation. Soon he realized his friends were talking about the adults in their village. They were imitating the grown-ups' grumpy behavior and their refusal to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. The children were puzzled and wondered why the adults couldn't be more like them, finding joy in the simplest of things. Just then, Jordan's grandmother, who'd been sitting under the tree and observing the children's conversation, called him over. With a twinkle in her eyes, she said, "Jordan, my dear, I see that you have noticed something special. The words you seek can be found in the story from the good book." Intrigued, Jordan sat down next to his grandmother and she opened the pages of the Bible to a passage known as Matthew 11, verses 16 to 19 and 25 to 30. She began to read. "But to what will I compare this generation? It is like children sitting in the marketplace and calling to one another. We played the flute for you, and you did not dance. We wailed, and you did not mourn. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say, 'He has a demon.' The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, 'Look, a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners.'" At this, Jordan's eyes widened, and he asked his grandmother, "Well, what does this mean?" His grandmother smiled and continued, "Jesus was teaching us that just as the children in the marketplace played different tunes, and yet their peers didn't respond, people can be hard to please no matter what we do. But we shouldn't be discouraged by their disapproval. Instead, we should embrace who we are and continue to spread joy and love." Jordan nodded, understanding the lesson. His grandmother then pointed to the next verse, which said, "Come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." His grandmother explained that Jesus was inviting all who were burdened and tired to find comfort and solace in him. He offered rest, not only from physical weariness, but also from the burdens of life. He promised to teach them the ways of gentleness and humility, guiding them towards a lighter and more joyful path. Filled with his newfound wisdom, Jordan thanked his grandmother for sharing the story and the valuable lesson it held. He realized that instead of imitating the grumpiness of the grown-ups, he could choose to be happy and to spread the goodness that there is around us. Did you get it? It sounds like Jordan's grandma explained it really well. But what about the other kids? They were sad and puzzled. And what about you? Did you understand what Jesus meant about his yoke being easy and his burden light? No? Let's try this. So, you know what these are? These are scales. They're used to see how heavy something is. You might have one at home, or you might have been weighed at the doctor's office. We're going to label this one burdens, and the other one we'll label rest. Now, the burden scale is going to be used for all the heavy burdens we sometimes carry in our lives, like worries and fears and negative attitudes, while the rest scale represents the invitation of Jesus to find rest and peace in Him. So let's add some burdens to the burden scale. Do you have any suggestions for what we can add? What is something that makes you tired or sad or scared?
How about when my dad has to work on the weekend when I want to play with him? Oh, can I put in when I bake cookies and I burned a whole tray of them? And what about when I have to do homework when I'd rather go out and play? And how about when I am sick and too tired to even watch TV?
Wow, look at the scale now. Well, let's take a look at the other scale that is rest. Remember, in the reading, Jesus talks about His yoke. He said, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So let's let these stuffed animals represent the yoke of Jesus. And they sure don't weigh much, do they? What if we remove some of the burdens? How can the yoke of Jesus help us to lighten our load?
Well, if we invite Jesus to help us, He can help me rest and I won't be as sick as long and I'll feel better faster.
Great. Let's take off the burden of being sick and put on one of the stuffies.
How about if we give Him the burden of homework and I can have a better attitude and get it done and go out to play?
Again, let's take off the burden and add another stuffy.
Oh, and my burned cookies. What if I ask Jesus to make me feel better and I try it again?
There you go. Can you see what happens when we take off the burden?
And if I ask for Jesus' help, I can play without my dad and not make him feel bad, and I can make him a cup of tea when he gets home.
Well, that's one more. And what do you think? All those burdens sure put a lot of weight on us. The yoke of Jesus is a lot lighter load to carry. Remember, if we accept Jesus' invitation, we can exchange our heavy burdens for His light yoke and find true rest and joy in Him. Thanks for your help. I hope your burdens are light and you trust Jesus to help you.